Hello, everyone. Welcome to our St. Ledger and Irish Champions Weekend Saturday specific preview. We'll be running through the three big Group 1s taking place on Saturday, the final classic of the season before the Matron Stakes over a mile for the fillies, and then a very interesting renewal of the Irish Champions Stakes. Daniel, we'll go straight to you. Despite them being two different countries, is the ground going to be quite similar at both?
Yes, as in there's a give in the ground. We're getting to autumn, aren't we? Doncaster today was quite soft. It's probably on the soft side, sort of soft and good to soft mix. It's going to dry for a couple of days. So I have no idea precisely what the ground will be, but it's not going to be, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good to firm. There's not much rain due, but I don't know how much drying we'll see. Over at Leopardstown, this is quite interesting. They've had significantly more rain than the Curragh. The Curragh is still riding good on the round course with a little bit of yielding. Leopardstown is now, they've had much more than they expected, and it's now soft with yielding in places, or soft, good to soft in places, as we Brits would say. Not much more rain due, but this is not going to dry out to fast ground. Absolutely no way.
Okay. Well, we will start by talking about the St. Ledger, the final class of the season. And at the minute, the market is led by Scandinavia. The choice of arguably, or what was declared as the second choice, Coolmore jockey Tom Marquand. He's best price 6-4. We've got Lambourn 5-2, Carmers is 5-1, Stay True 17-2, further 12-1, Rahib 33s, and Tarians 33s. Interesting point to note here is that Bet365, Betfred, and Sky Bet are going 3 places, despite there only being 7 runners. So if you're looking for an each way play, be sure to go with those bookmakers. And they're not actually that much shorter than the rest priced for 2 places. So if you have a Bet365, Sky Bet, or Betfred account, I would definitely be using it for the St. Ledger on Saturday, were you looking to bet. So we'll start with the favourite, Scandinavia. As mentioned, the second choice jockey on board, and there are ground concerns, as you mentioned. Is 6-4 a bit skinny, and can you see him going off bigger on the day?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't touch him at this price. He has been the revelation of this season, really, as a staying horse. Absolutely remarkable, particularly after that Ascot. Probably a bit unlucky wide throughout 5th in the Queen's Vase. 2 monster performances. I mean, I was up at Newmarket for the Bahrain Trophy, whatever it was just, he powered away. It was daylight back to the next, and and then behind him. So what's not to like? Justify Colt. This has come on good summer ground, these 2 monster performances, and if there's soft in the gear going, good to soft in places or something like that, it's just a different test. So I wouldn't take 6-4. It's probably nothing, but I would also point out that he blew out at Donny last year. He was over for a big race as a juvenile and didn't run well at all. He was an immature horse, so that may be nothing, but just worth bearing in mind, 6-4, no thanks.
Yeah. Next in the betting, we've got Lambourn at 5-2. He, coming off the back of a pretty disappointing run in the Voltage, but the market somewhat told a story there where he drifted out to a much bigger price than he opened at. Before that, he obviously won 2 derbies, the Epsom and the Curragh edition, and he never has had the reputation that you'd expect for 2 derby horses, hence why he's second favourite here. But could you see money coming? As it mentions a couple of times already, Ballydoyle have got, quote unquote, the number 1 jockey, Sean Levy, on board. And do you think that's a sign of confidence from the Coolmore team?
There's a lot of ambiguity as to whether Sean Levy had the choice or not. A lot of people said he did, but then there was him on a podcast saying that he never gets to choose. He tells what he's written. But that was before the injury to Ryan Moore and Wayne Lordan's suspension. Everything's different now. He is effectively their most, used go-to jockey with Sumion over in Ireland. In terms of the price, I mean, we recommended this one, didn't we? Said, look, you've got to check chance with this guy. What was we put him up at as an Arsenal 6-1? And we knew the horses were going to be in here. He was 6-1, and now he's 5-2. So that's not hugely appealing. But if you said, do you want to back Lambourn at 5-2 or Scandinavia at 6-4, I'd say Lambourn. I mean, let's not forget, no, he's not the greatest Derby winner we've ever seen. But when was the last time a dual Epsom and Irish Derby winner came to Townmore and was not a favourite? It's extraordinary, isn't it? And it's all because of that dull Voltiger run. But that's just totally standard AOB modus operandi, isn't it? You give them a break and then they're just ready to start back. You can read, he drifted like a barge as well before that race. I think it was known that he just wasn't ready. So I'd forgive that. I think a little bit of dig underfoot. Remember, I mean, his Epsom Derby, there's been a good soft around that day. That suits him down to the ground. Kind of think he should be favourite. I prefer him at the 2, but if betting now, having recommended and back to myself at 6s, I don't want to do that. Wouldn't be my bet, but he would be my preferred one of the 2, top 2.
Yeah, okay, Lambourn then from the front end of the market, and then we get into what Daniel would perceive as the each-way territory, where we have Carmers at 5-1, but interestingly, 9-2, 3 places available with Bet365, and is that something that's got you excited?
Yeah, as in, I told you before we went on air, I went back in and I was saying to you rather glumly, it's not going to go wrong. So I've got 2 previous bets on Carmers anti-post as well. So to go in back for more is just a bit daft, isn't it? But I just thought, 7-horse field, kind of each way price. I just think this one's going to run well. We put him up again, an article for the Great Voltiger, didn't we? At about 8-1 or something like that. And you and I were there that day at different places in the stands. And I don't know about you, but I thought, this is not going well.
Yeah,
2.5 furlongs out, he was like being scrubbed along and they were coming past him. And I thought, dear, oh dear, I thought it was better than that. And then, of course, that's back to 12 furlongs. And he's staying right on and regains second on the line. Put that race another 2 furlongs, he probably would have won it. He's got the distance now. And I just think he's going to run well. I still don't think he's the most likely winner, but 9-2, 3 places, that I feel, that kind of appeals. Okay.
9-2, 3 places. Carmers. Next in betting, we've got Stay True at 70-2, who also ran on that Voltiger. Actually, a son of Galileo, must be from his last crop. Can Galileo land one last classic?
That would be something, wouldn't it? In fact, Galileo could win a couple of ledgers each side of the sea of the weekend, because I can't remember who it is, Illinois or whoever it is Galileo in the Irish equivalent, older horse, of course. But yes, is it the last crop? 3-year-olds Galileo.
It must be.
I think it must be. So, there's a story there. I've got to say, I fear this one. And I haven't backed him, but I keep on scratching, looking at it and thinking, this is the most likely horse race in the field. He has X months off and comes back for the Great Voltiger. He too is just ready to start back. And he runs a really good race, given that he's not close to fitness. So, if there's improvement after that, he was very close to winning the was it the Lingfield Derby trial, just touched off by Puppet Master. Now, Puppet Master's gone wrong since, but I don't necessarily think that was bad form, because there was a significant gap back to the 3rd. Slightly fair. This guy wouldn't put anyone off having an each way and Stay True either. He would be the other one for me as an each way.
Yeah, parallel form lines. Nighttime Dancer was back in 3rd in that Lingfield Derby trial, who then was 2nd to Scandinavia, about 5 lengths at Newmarket. So maybe being underlooked in the market relative to the favourite.
Who've they got on board?
They've got Miguel Barcelona.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You
know the answer to that.
No, I'm joking. I really hate Barcelona over a sort of turning mile. He's always just exaggerated. Wait, hold up, right? Maybe in not testing down more 1 mile 6 and a bit. Maybe a Barcelona ride is going to work.
Yeah. We'll see. Not of interest for me, Stay True. Further next in the betting at 12-1, Shin Murphy and Andrew Balding. Any interest there?
The thing with this chap is you don't quite know what you're going to get. I'm just looking at his last 5 runs: 1st, 5th, 2nd, 5th, 1st, and at the fifth two back was fifth of five. I think that was in
25
the
lengths back.
that was in the Bahrain Trophy won by Scandinavia, wasn't it? No explanation why that was so bad, because he had form on rattling fast ground. He was only a length behind Carmers in that Queen Vase. Wasn't beaten far. The Jeffrey Freer run, his win last time, one going away, is the last three comments you'll see in the description of the analysis by those of Timeform and Racing Post. That's got a very high rating, not particularly strong top sort of speed figure, but if you can deliver that again, then maybe. I'm just not quite sure, and I just don't think he's reliable. I like Carmers, who his figures are 1-1-1-2, and that 2 is a distance too short. I just think there's a bit of doubt here. I could be wrong, so he's a bit of a wild card, but I'm bypassing this one.
Yeah. Next in the betting, we've got Rahib, who I believe we put up for the Queen's Vase, didn't we? And unfortunately, he didn't land the biscuits then. But can he on Saturday at 33-1?
I had a little each way a while back on Rahib, and then he ran really poorly last time out. So I thought, and then just look at it again, and he's had quite a few runs on the trot. Now he's had a break. Varian is he's one of the best in the business for long break, no big deal. He'll deliver one on the day, not a problem. He was that second to Merchant at York. He was giving him more than half a stone. That's a monster piece of form. And then he himself was only beaten a length. I said further was beaten less than a length by Carmers, but Ray was right in the mix. This step up, I'm tempted. I've got to admit, I'm tempted to go back in again now, having written off my sort of big price win only bet anti-post. I'm tempted to go back in 3 places 33.
Yeah.
Just for a little one. That Merchant form was good. That Queen's Vase was good. I can forgive him a dull run after many runs in succession.
Yeah. 105 rating would require a fair bit of improvement, but positive shout for Rahib at 33-1, 3 places each way. Last to talk about is Tariant, who is actually a horse that I was not familiar with before looking into this race. So could you tell me a little bit about Tariant?
I'd never heard of Tariant until he won the Melrose. Not being the most sort of keen followers of lower handicap form, but the Melrose is a sort of key one. And he won it off top weight. Only debuted in April, so 5 runs, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1 on the figures and the ratings. He's improved every single race. He's not a complete throwout, but I can't back everything, and I'm not going to back this one.
Okay. Well, that is a wrap on the St. Ledger. Probably most positive words was for Carmers, 92 each way, 3 places. And
why are you smiling so much when you say that? Because I backed him 3 times.
No, it's just 92 3 places. It feels like the sort of bet that would get your Bet 365 account quickly taken away from you. But
no, I'm sure they love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Besides, my Bet 365 account, the 9th I've had, is not in my name anyway, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem for you. Fallen Angel is at the front of the betting for the Matron Stakes. As I said, we have switched over to Leopardstown now. Fallen Angel, another horse that you've probably backed multiple times. Would you still be interested in her at 9-4?
You're right. I do have a thing about this, Philly. I was trying to persuade you to make an anti-post case at a big price earlier in the season. Do you remember for the, I'm going to say the Lockinge or something like that? Yeah, she ran bad. It was rattling fast ground that day. She's not a rattling fast ground filly, but she's a very, very good Group 1 filly. In fact, she's the only multiple Group 1 winning filly in this race. Every year, right? She's Group 1 at 2, Group 1 at 3, Irish 2000, I think, and the pre-Rothschild. That was a great race. Yes, she only just held off January. We'll come to January and her perhaps inability to go past horses in a minute. But what I love about her is the soft ground she's going to get. I think the pre-Rothschild last time was too fast for her ideal circumstances. Her Ireland, trailing over Ireland for Group 1s, her figures are 1, 1, 2. Now, I mean, what's not to like there? The 2, by the way, was second to Porta Fortuna in this race last year. I just think she's rock solid, not least because every season, if you look through her 3 years of racing, she improves every run on the ratings. Do you see what I mean? She's not an in and out filly. She doesn't get her ground, fair enough, early season, early summer. But when she gets some digs, she's mustard. She travels to Ireland. She's mustard. She's excellent at the Curragh. What's not to like? She's the right favourite. And if I was going to back a win-only bet in this race, it would be her. Me being me and me being in love with this filly, I backed 20 post. I'm not going to go back in at 94, but I still think she's by far the likeliest winner.
Yeah, and I want to fall an angel if there'll be a case for waiting to the day if the Ballydor money comes for January, who's currently 11-4. But yeah, as you've just pointed out, I mean, there's quite a lot of price disparity in January. There's quite a lot of price disparity across this whole race between the different bookmakers. She is 11-4 best price, but there's 15-8 and mostly 2-1. So William Hill taking quite a strong position here against January. So if you're a January fan, head to William Hill. But as I say, she doesn't really like to win, does she? So when you're backing a horse at around 2-1, 11-4, you want them to want to win.
Absolutely. I'm going to say the same thing. And the one thing, though, I agree, is you'd like to see win more often than she does. I do have some disagreement with lots of people who said after that last Rothschild run, oh, that's it, I'm getting up on that she just doesn't want to go past horses. I'm not absolutely sure. And both her last 2 races, she's faced proper Group 1 filly, Cinderella's Dream and the Falmouth. She saw off Crimson Dream, the Duke of Cambridge winner. Fine, so she didn't get past Cinderella's Dream, and she didn't get past Fallen Angel, possibly with a disadvantageous draw. Of the fast 5 home, January was the only one who didn't have a double thick stall. So maybe there's nothing in that. But more a concern for me is the ground. If you look at her runs against Desert Flower last year, she was much further behind her at Newmarket than she was in the I forgot the name of the race at Doncaster that she raced in her May Hill, something like that. I'm not convinced. I think January's fast ground filly. And so that's another reason why I wouldn't back her here. And I could be wrong. She could just be one of these ones of Aiden's that just keeps on getting better and she finally gets it done. But I'm a skeptic, particularly on this ground.
Yeah. So see, next to the betting 5-1 Coronation Stakes winner, there is not much 5-1 around. I think she's only 5-1 in one place, and the majority is 7-2, 10-3. Yeah, just Paddy Power holding out on 5s. Do you think that's worth taking before it goes?
The 4 place people won't give you anything like 5-1. They'll give you something like 7-2, won't they?
Yeah, there's 9-2 4 places of Sky Bet. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that's 4 places. I mean, if you look through this, we'll come to the others in a minute, but there's a lot of filler in this race. This horse proved herself a Group 1 filly by beating, Zaragona and many others, including January, I think, in the Coronation. She proved that she could handle a bit of dig last time by finishing second to Whirl in that farcical flag for Nassau. Over 10. So given that we know she's got the speed for a mile on fast ground, but she stays 10, I don't see why she'd have problem with conditions. I would have thought of coming to the race now with these prices, Sassini each way, 4 places. She'd have to seriously underperform on everything we've seen in her last 3 runs, not to be in the 4, is the way I look at it. It's perfectly reasonable bet.
Vera's Secret is next at 12-1. I really cannot believe the price on this at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Last time out, beat Don's Night and Day by a neck or a head or something, who's rated 99. And I just don't know where she's going to find another £15 to win this race. Can you make a case for her, 12-1?
As you know, James, you and I occasionally vehemently disagree about horses, but this is not one of those cases. I have absolutely no idea why she's fourth favourite in the betting. I mean, she's a big improver on her 10 races, but what we're looking at is a horse who's won a couple of Group 3s and come fourth to Porta Fortuna, the only time she's faced a real horse of note. That's not enough to see off Cecchini and January and Fallen Angel, and I doubt it's enough to get into the places either. I'd much rather some of those down here in the betting than this one. I don't get it.
Yeah, good to be in agreement there. Exactly 14 to 1. So let me just let you know, whereas 14's is with 3 places, 9's best 4 or 10's best 4 places on exactly.
You know me, exactly. I'm a bit cliffy about this one, but I will say, though, in my defence, I'm a bit more wary of her in situations like this, where I'm nervous that she's running on her merits. She ran perfectly well in the Group 1. What's that newly made up 7 furlong race at York, City of York? I mean, how many of these would have been 2.5 lengths off winning that? I think she's very good. And even though, you look at her G1 record this year, it's 4th, 6th, 5th, 6th. A lot of these, I think you can make excuses for. I think that's a bit big, or would if I was sure she was running on her own merits, and that's what worries me. But just in case, if you're worried about her quality, when there's dig in the ground, and this is another reason I'm drawn to her here. She was a 6th length winner of a Group 3 here, or was it at Leopardstown, as a 2-year-old, and she was beaten only half a length in total behind Vertical Blue and Zaragana and the Marcel Boussac at the end of last season. I think this is another thing in her favour, the soft ground, but to be a fly on the wall when the lads discuss this race in their plots for it, because they may just say, right, exactly, you're going to go and worry Fallen Angel at the front, just worry her the whole way around, and she's had enough of it and packs it in.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
I know they've had second strings winners in the past. I feel like was it Roly Poly or Hydrangea on this, beating Winter. The
second or third fillies winning races for AOB is commonplace.
Yeah. Right, so that is the second half of the Daniel Cliff horse forecast, exactly to join Fallen Angel. Next in the betting, we've got Cathedral at 18 to 1 for David Egan and trainer Kevin Philippart IV.
No.
Okay.
Just no. I'll tell you why. No, three reasons why, not just no. Look, she's always had a big reputation. She's never quite delivered on that. She doesn't deliver as a 3-year-old. She was 4th in the Coronation, Group 1 Ascot. That was a good run. But they've muttered about withdrawing her things and not declaring her when it's been soft. They're going to get something soft. Plus, they've taken this filly away from Beckett and they've given her to Philippart de Foy. I've got nothing against this guy. I don't really have enough data to evaluate him over the last few years, but to me, I'd be staggered if anyone could improve a filly they got from Beckett. Absolutely staggered. I think maybe it's ammo racing. Want her in a big one. Don't like the good soft ground. It's just no.
Okay. Next in the betting, we've got at Sealer at 25 to 1. So I'm denied about this horse because I really quite liked for the Irish 1,000 guineas, and then also quite liked for the race at Newmarket, the Falmouth Stakes, I think it was. And then she was obviously bitterly disappointing in both, and then was disappointing at Deauville last time out. But she is Phoenix of Spain. She'll like the soft ground, and does that bring her into contention here at 25 to 1?
I was going to query you about the Phoenix of Spain. He ran okay on soft. Didn't he win his Irish guineas on fast going? Anyway, whatever. Maybe he was fine.
He's the son of Lope de Vega, though.
Yeah, that's okay. Comes down the Lope de Vega line. Okay, I do get that. Like you, I was sort of quite keen on this one for the guineas. I thought she was quite exciting. But her figures are now 1-1, and those were lesser races. 7, 6, 8. The second of those wins, by the way, she has Sassini behind her on only a second run, and Sassini had more runs. So this is one of the reasons why you like her. I think we on our pod for the Irish thing, we said, look, this is a really interesting one. She didn't deliver then. She hasn't delivered twice since. All Group 1s. The question is, does Donica still believe, and is she here as a genuine contender? I suppose so, because she's not owned by an outfit like Ammo Racing. What's going to improve her? Maybe good soft ground then. I don't know. I can't quite see it, and so I couldn't quite get her. The other thing I don't like about this one, I should have said for Village Super as well, she's got a shocking draw. Leopardstown, you don't want to be, double figure field over a mile. You don't want to be out in 10, 11, 12. This is not good. And she's got one of the worst draws, so it's another reason for no. But yeah, maybe there is more in this filly, but not
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah, and then no, you are correct. Phoenix of Spain won on good firm grounds his 2000 guinea, so ignore partly my excitement about the breeding.
But we sort of know enough about her on that kind of ground, and not these things aren't always like cast iron. So it is an angle. She has been on rattling fast ground in the last few times, hasn't she? So it's different conditions.
Yeah, Sparks Fly 33-1. A horse I think you quite like, isn't it?
Yeah, and also watch the weather. So it's already soft, yielding in places. Sparks Fly is just a different filly when it turns proper testing. So I think if it's the majority soft, I think she's a cracking bet. I've written down 33s, but I think I wrote that about an hour ago. That's gone, I think, hasn't it? We were looking before what can you get on her?
You can still get 33s with Bet Victor and Coral.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, okay, that's 3 places. Of course, you really want 4 in a race with proper Group 1 fillies at the top, or Group 1 contenders at least. Yeah, she won in the autumn. Last couple of seasons, she's been mustered, winning only listed races, but with penalties as well, winning them easily when she's got the soft.
Right, she beat Sussex Stakes winner by 4 lengths.
Kirat, yes, okay. Yeah, well, anyway, of the outsiders, she's the one I would play 4 places. Unfortunately, she's being nibbled. When she gets into, now I don't know what the ground is, and then she's into 22s with the 4 place people. That doesn't really excite me so much. But I'll be watching, and I'll probably play if she's if more rain comes.
Okay. Sparks Fly. Then I haven't written out the names for the 3 outsiders: California Dreamer, Queen of Thunder, and Dr. Dilly. Do you give any of them a chance?
No, California Dream, 14 runs, 1 win, which is a maiden, but she just has 1 run on her CV that gives her this massive chance. But it's such a suspicious 50-1 second to Lake Victoria, where I think she sort of led all the way.
Yeah.
Sassini was behind her in 3rd. If you thought that California Dream was going to replace that figure, you'd be all over her. But it just looks very unlikely. She's done nothing since. Ducker, Billy, I can't even read my writing. 100-1. No, I couldn't get anywhere close to. The only one I just thought might run better than her price was Ken Condon's Queen of Thunder, 66-1. Not sure I'll back her, but I can't actually read my notes. There's a reason why I was slightly intrigued by this one, but I haven't backed it, and perhaps I won't. Watch her be placed now.
Yeah. Right, Irish Champion Stakes is next. Hopefully, you got some neater handwriting when you wrote your note for this one. And at the front of the market is Delacroix at 7-4. I wouldn't, not planning on backing him at all, but I thought actually he might be a little bit shorter. Out of just Aidan O'Brien, would be Ryan Moore factor in the Irish Champion Stakes, but.
Yes, well, no Ryan Moore on board could see relative weakness on the Ballydoyle number 1s all weekend, couldn't it? Unless they start going in, and of course, then that changes. And,
they didn't do very well last weekend.
Yeah, but this is the one he's got the ammunition, everything teed up for. This is the target this weekend, isn't it, for Ballydoyle? he's weakening. We're up to 7-4 now. You know, when Ombudsman was announced withdrawal, he's immediately crashed into 5-4 best.
Yeah.
He's got gradually weaker, and I personally wouldn't touch him at 7-4 either. There's something about his last 2 runs that's quite funny. No one really knows what the Juddmonte International was as a race. It's just such a mess. And he was 3 lengths behind Ombudsman. I'll give you horses much bigger in the betting that have got close to Ombudsman than that. Now, of course, he did beat Ombudsman in the Sandown Eclipse, but that again was one of the strangest races I've ever seen, and I can't quite get my head around what went on that day. My thinking is they went really slow, and then they started sprinting really fast, and a thoroughbred horse can only sprint at its fastest speed for so long before it falls apart, and Delacroix started sprinting last, and so it's a slightly little tenuous little theory of mine, but I just don't quite believe Delacroix is quite as good as that Eclipse run. Also, that was rattling fast ground. This will not be rattling fast ground. Now, I know as a 2-year-old and his first 2 reasons as the season, he copes with Dig just fine. But taking it to the level he has with that one standout performance, and then the Juddmonte, his second best performance, those are on fast summer ground. He hasn't got it here. He's got much more testing conditions, and there's horses I like so much more at the prices.
Yeah, and there's one of those horses, Anmaat at 4-1. I know we put him up at 8-1 maybe last weekend. Halved in price to 4s. Feels a bit skinny now.
Yes and no. It feels skinny compared to when we put him up at 8s. But it doesn't feel skinny in the sense that if you put me in the bookmaker ring at Leopardstown and said, right, you've got to play bookmaker and you've got to take 100 grand's worth of money, price up your horses on the board. And it was like my money and like my, I had to sell all my belongings if I got it wrong. I'd have Anmaat, Delacroix 5-2s kind of co-favorites. Wow. I'd have him shorter than he is now. Now that the ground has gone his way, sorry, I wouldn't have said that at all if it was fast ground. Quick rant. If it was good to firm, they might not have run him, which does my head in, because this horse was second to Ombudsman in the Prince of Wales, which was good to firm on the day, but has been re-rated as firm by Timeform. If you look through Anmaat's CV and his record on fast ground, it's absolutely excellent. I have no idea what their problem is with fast ground. Rant over. He hasn't got that. He's got what they think is his preferred ground, and he does act extremely well on soft. There's nothing not to like about this horse. All his last 3 runs have been superb for different reasons, even though he hasn't been a winning machine. But Saturday, he's got a huge chance, and I don't think 4s is bad.
Okay. Well, a lot more positive than I was on Anmaat. 4-1 should be 5-2 potentially. Shin Emporer is next. A horse I know that you've also liked historically. 13-2. Do you like him here?
If it was fast ground, I'd be all over this one like a rash. And I'm not sure. I don't think it's a given that he won't handle sort of yielding-y conditions, but he came here and brilliantly last year in arguably a stronger edition of this. He was beaten a length, but he was short of room at a crucial stage. Yahagi knows absolutely how to get one ready. He's been over for the same campaign as last time here and then the Arc. Why did he flop in the Arc? Is it because he does not like soft ground, even though his half-brother Sox has won an Arc in a bog? Or was he just off on that day? We won't know. After this race, we'll know more. Unfortunately, we won't bet him, and that's not terribly helpful to say we'll have to see how he runs. I won't on the ground, but put it this way: this horse came second or third, but beaten half a length or something in the Japan Cup last year. The Japan Cup's 18 horses of Group 1 in the nation that probably has the deepest field of 12 furlong horses in the world. That was absolutely top draw. His performance last year here was absolutely top draw. He can easily win this race if he handles it a bit yielding, which he's got to prove. So I'm not on him for this. But put this way, if he passes the line or you get a sense of furlong out, good grief, Shin is going to hose up here. How quickly can you get him on him in the other Because he's in a monster price. He's in like sort of 60s or 70s on Betfair, and I don't know what price you can get on the board, but it's all a bit mad for a horse of his quality. But I'm fascinated to see how he handles the ground.
Yeah. A horse who, on what he's shown, doesn't probably have the same quality is Zoran, who I think he's only rated 111, but probably has more upsides. Are you surprised he's running here, and are you surprised he's as short as he is?
I don't know. I'm surprised he's running here. I mean, he is clearly an improving 3-year-old, and improving 3-year-olds are dangerous. He won well last time, but he beat nothing last time compared to a field like this. So I just don't. I don't get it. And Zoran I have sort of here, and Delacroix, Anmaat, Shin, Emporer I have here, and there's a gulf between them. I think he gets the weight break as a 3-year-old, but he's not good enough on all known form to play a hand in this. So no, I don't get the price.
No. But were he to win, have a look at Amalok for the Irish St. Ledger the following day. Their form is very closely tied from Ascot.
Yes. Yeah, that's the other point, by the way. I don't really like the 10 furlongs for him. That staying performance. With Amalok. Yeah. Anyway, on to White Birch.
On to White Birch indeed at 15-2. I've really liked White Birch for the last couple of seasons, and he seems to find a way to either get injured or get a bit unfortunate. At least it's been the case this year. At 15-2, off the back of a long break, are you interested, or would you wait to see how he runs this race and then look at him then for the Arc, or what's your thinking on
Well, no, because if you sit out and he wins this, you won't get much of a price for the Arc. I think at the current prices, I think he's the bet. This is a terrific horse on almost all known form, and in the market, I think there's a recency bias here. So no one's seen this horse since May, so he's kind of vaguely off radar. So I wouldn't be surprised if he come down significantly in price from here. That Tattersalls Gold Cup last year, where he thumped Auguste Rodin, and got, by the way, very, very good, hugely good time figure for that as well. That was top draw stuff, and he comes back earlier this year before, was it injury interrupted or just ground? I can't remember why he's been out for 3 months.
A combination.
I think he missed one because he tweaked something, and then the ground's gone against him since. But that is coming back behind the Los Angeles. The Tattersalls Gold Cup. He got no run. He and Kalpana were just either given bad rides couldn't get a run at the right time. Hugely eye catching, can be marked up. I think he's got a decent shout of hitting the frame here, a possible chance of the win. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like White Birch at 15-2. Next in the Best Things World Champion.
Do you mind? So I just got to share a little stat with you. That Tattersalls Gold Cup win over Auguste Rodin that I told you about, that got a really huge time figure. It was run 12 seconds faster than a race on the same day won by Hanalia, who then went on to win a Group 2 on Champion Weekend later that year. Now, fine, that was earlier in the season. Hanalia was not the season she became, but 12 seconds faster. It's just absolutely extraordinary. So there's a big one in this guy, and underrated trainer, so too big a price.
I assume the two races were over the same distance.
Yes. Do you think I should go back and see if actually Hanalia ran a furlong less, which would be moderately embarrassing?
Yeah, exactly. 12 seconds sounds about right for that. Okay, Royal Champion is next at 20-1. Horse that looks incredibly impressive at York, but as we now know, that was on good to firm as opposed to the described good to soft. A horse that seems to very much improved this year, despite being a 7-year-old. And I don't know if that means you can remove any sort of soft ground concerns that he might have had earlier in his career. 20s. I quite like him at 20s. I would definitely have him in a match bet over Zoran at 13-2.
Now I would if it was good or better, but I don't like the ground going against this one. As you say, that York run, I think a lot of horses didn't handle that or didn't run to their best. Certainly Almaquam, I think, is a better horse than Royal Champion. And the fact that Almaquam was beaten by that convinced it was too fast for him. So I don't think he's got his ground, and because that was his best ever run by a long way. He's been a decent horse. He's done some decent things in the past. He won the Wolverton back in 23. He's never been a bad horse, but was he 7th of 8th in the Prince of Wales? Wasn't he Prince of the Wales this year?
Yeah, but he was on the pace.
True. Okay, he wasn't exactly wasn't far off that horrendous pace. Yeah, I just don't see it on the ground. I like you. I would get quite excited about him at 20s. If this was predominantly good, just maybe a tiny bit of yielding in places at worst, but it might be even worse than that. So no, I won't go near him.
Okay. Well, one to watch with regards to the drying ground, hopefully. Hotel 28-1 next in the betting. Do you like him? Failed to get his head in front this year.
Absolutely right. Is it sort of 4th, 5th, 4th, or something like that for such a good juvenile? That's disappointing. But when you look through it, I think there are pretty good reasons for that. So Field of Gold, 3rd Field of Gold in the Irish Guineas, that was his comeback run. So that wasn't a bad run by any stretch of the imagination. Then 5th in the Eclipse, but it was that Eclipse, wasn't it? He wasn't beaten far. And then he goes to America, and it all goes horribly wrong and doesn't get a run. So he only finishes 4th. Trouble in running and firm ground. By the way, this guy's back on a ground which didn't he beat Delacroix?
He did. He's unbeaten with any soft or yielding in the description.
There you go. I mean, haven't you got to have a couple of pennies for each one of this guy?
Yeah, it's enticing.
I would like to wait. I'm a bit worried about waiting in case other people get the same idea and the price crashes, but I'd like to wait and see for 8 places. One of these lots come out. Say Birch doesn't fancy it and Royal Champion comes out and you're 7 horses, then you don't want to know.
Yeah. Okay. And then last and back, we've got the pacemaker, Mount Kilimanjaro, 150s. No point dwelling on him, really, is there?
Wouldn't be in a season where we almost had 200 3-figure horses taking Group 1 races, and one actually did, but no, otherwise there is no point.
Yeah. Cool. So the most positive noises then come for White Birch and Anmaat. Those of you who are subscribed to our emails will hopefully be on both of those at bigger prices, I think 12s and 8s respectively. So yeah, a quick plug there to head over to X. The link will be in the description, and to give us a follow to get the first moves basically on our selections. And yeah, that's a wrap then for what will be a very exciting Saturday of racing. Any last words, Daniel?
No, I think not. There were other races that I'm still to get fully, since the decks came out this morning. There's so much more, of course, on particularly on both cards, isn't there? There's a really good Group 2 Park Stakes. Whatever is it, Doncaster, the Champagne Stakes. And there's the whole card at Leopardstown is of course superb. So more to be done, but no, not for this year.
Yeah, and we've got ambitions of recording on Saturday morning to preview Sunday at the Curragh.
I like the phrase "we've got ambitions of recording." Does that mean I don't know how my Friday night's going to go and it might not happen?
Oh yeah, you can read into that what you want. But yeah, we should be at least potentially glassy-eyed recording on Saturday morning. All right, okay. Thank you very much, everyone. As per usual, please let us know who you've backed, what you're on, and what you're excited to see on Saturday. And we'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.